For our next chapter video summary, we're going over chapter 23 and 24. Chapter 23 is rules governing the issuance and trading of securities. Some objectives we're talking about are going to be introduction of the regulations, and then some different acts that fall under those categories, and then just some different types of them as well. The first thing we'll talk about are the Securities and Exchange Commission. It's federal administration agencies charged with the overall responsibilities of regulating securities and ensuring that investors receive full and fair disclosure of all material facts with regard of any public offering. The first act we're going to talk about here is the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act. It just oversees any new financial stability oversight made uphead of major regulatory agencies that were established, and it just kind of helps oversees all the funds of a project. The Sarbanes-Oxley Act 2002, it's corporate accountability, requires CEOs and CFOs to certify financial reports. There's new account regulations, and they established a public company accounting oversight board. And then there's criminal penalties of 25 years imprisonment for fraud, 20 years imprisonment for destruction of the records. And security is a stock, bond, or any other instrument of interest. Some characteristics of them are common enterprise, reasonable expectations of profits, and profits are derived solely from others' efforts. The next act we're going to talk about is the registration of securities under the Securities Act of 1933. Its purpose is helps investors make informed stock purchase decisions. The next thing we're going to talk about here are just different securities and laws. Here we have e-commerce, online securities disclosures, and fraud regulations. It's marketplace of securities. Internet is effectively accelerated trade. There's fraud in the marketplace of fake companies all the way around trying to just get money out of you. Legislation prohibits bribery and money laundering overseas is done by the global dimensions of rules governing the issuance and trading securities. Chapter 24 talks about antitrust laws, and we're going to introduce it, how to enforce it, and 2 acts about it, and some global dimensions. So what is it? Trust, it's business arrangements in which owners of stocks and several companies place their securities within trustees. And the Sherman Act of 1890 arrived at regulating monopolies, known as antitrust statute. The goals of it is preservation of small businesses, prevention of concentration of political and economic powers, preservation of local control businesses, and promotion of maximization of consumer welfare. Some exemptions of this are regulated industries, labor unions, interstate activities, agricultural, baseball, and activities falling within the state doctrine, and then cities, town, village activities, oil marketing, and a few others. So the Sherman Act of 1890, that pretty much required the presence of an agreement or a collusion. It's pretty much dealt with the restraint of trade. Then we have the horizontal restraint of trade, which is horizontal price fixing, boycotting, division of markets, and there's a vertical restraint of trade, and that's non-price vertical restraints, and then excluding dealing contracts. The Clayton Act, it's about price discrimination, trying and exclusive dealing agreements, and the type of mergers: horizontal merger, vertical merger, and conglomerate merger. And then some limits of this is guidelines set by the Department of Justice. Established business practice should be sustainable and foreseeable. There's state-regulated models, and there's Treaty of Friendship and Commerce between the United States and foreign nations.